Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Johnny Girardi. I'm DataSelf's founder and CEO. I'm a big data geek, as I'm self-proclaimed. I was a software engineer in my early career, became a business person, and for the past 20 plus years, I've been helping organizations using systems like Sage to improve their decision support system by bringing real, easy, affordable enterprise business intelligence. Today's webinar is to focus around the next generation business intelligence reporting with AI, kind of focus towards Sage Future, in a few weeks out of San Francisco, but it's around really bringing, we call BI with AI for Sage and related systems. So we'll see practical ways how BI with AI helps organizations using Sage and other systems. So let me get started here. So first of all, I always tell people Sage has a lot of very powerful ERP, CRM, and other systems. Always be sure you're leveraging the most out of the built-in reporting tools. If you're struggling, talk with your VAR to see maybe you're missing some features to take advantage of. However, if you're here, I assume you're already hitting the limitations of Sage reporting, and then you're looking for something better. By the way, we work with all kind of Sage competitors. We work with dozens of different ERP systems, and all of them want to start to hit the limitation of the building reporting tools in the Excel is when you need to go to the next level, and that's what DataSelf brings, is the next level of BI with AI for Sage and other systems. Quick timeline in our business. We've been around for over 21 years, so we can have a drink officially. We are 21 years old. We've been working with Sage from the beginning. If you've seen the timeline, Sage 100, 300 were the first systems. Eventually, we incorporated the Sage 500, CRM, X3, Intact. We actually, today, we support all Sage products, actually all ERPs in a way. From an AI standpoint, it's not new to us. We've been doing BI with AI since 2018, but since 2024, about two years ago, that the AI with BI with AI took a whole different level. So we'll talk a little bit about all those things. And very exciting for those of you who already are using DataSelf or know about DataSelf is that in January this year, we released the next generation of our platform that really brings together BI with AI, which is the focus of today's presentation. First of all, DataSelf in the course of 21 years has been evolving and tackling a lot of different verticals and industries. These industries that I'm listing is where we have a very strong footprint, even though we are a generic BI platform that can work with any kind of data problems. But if you are in some of these industries, the value is even better and faster. So what are the challenges addressed by BI with AI? Very top level, what are the challenges? So I'm going to first focus on decision makers' challenges, why they might not be happy with what you have out of your systems like Sage. One of the main complaint is we call slow reports. Slow reports has two angles. Either when you press the run button, it takes more than a few seconds. Nowadays, if a business person is on a call in a meeting and they need some kind of information, in that report or dashboard takes more than a few seconds. Quite often people don't wait and they wing it. I usually tell people that you're always getting your report 1 minute too late. Well, guess what? It's too late. Either you get the data now in a few seconds, or many times people just wing it. So slow reports is a big problem in many ERP systems and other systems. The other thing is, well, I can only get this report at the end of the week or at the end of the month because I need my business analyst to go through loops and hoops to put together my numbers. So those reports also, that require labor intensive, we also call slow reports. They get to you, we call 1 minute too late, 1 hour too late, 1 week too late, 1 month too late. So Either you get it now or you don't, because many informations need information now. The second problem that business people complain is, well, I got the report, but I need to slice it and dice it, and I can't. So limited ad hoc analysis is a big complaint from decision makers using traditional reporting tools. And finally is business people tell, I wish I knew what KPIs to pay attention to. People usually are paying attention to a lot of KPIs, but quite often there are KPIs they should be paying attention to, and they don't know, and they are missing opportunities, or they losing money because they're not keeping track of industry-specific best practice KPIs. How BI with the AI solves those kind of problems? Once you use BI with AI and you design it right, is very important. If you design BI with AI right, the idea is when a business person has a question that the tool set can answer, you get the answer in seconds. No matter how much data you have, if you're consolidating multi-companies, it's multi-currency, you have all those complicated things, no matter what you're doing, the information must be rendered in seconds. And BI with AI properly designed delivers that. If you don't believe me, give me a call and I can give you how this is possible. Second, BI with AI has a lot of capabilities that allows business people to find answer to their questions. We tell that on average, 80% of their ad hoc questions can be answered by themselves right there when they have the question. Not all, not 100%, but on average, 80%, they can do it themselves. Most likely today, they can do almost nothing because every change to a report, every slice and dicing requires expertise, export to Excel, manipulation. So very amazing value to let people slice and dice their data anytime and anywhere. Nowadays, AI is all over the place, and there's a lot of the tangible, practical values of AI for BI. If you know how to pick the proper AI components in your BI platform, if you get your data governed, if you populate your AI with the proper data models, AI does magic. It can even many use cases that in the past would require more technical knowledge. Now business people in plain English, they ask the AI bots for questions, and quite often the AI gets the answer right there on spot in seconds. Finally, for every vertical that you're in, it takes time to build a KPI best practice. And in the course of 21 years, we have worked with, many different industries in our, and having a KPI library is usually a critical component to get BI with AI really ahead of the curve. That's decision makers' benefits and challenges and benefits. From a business analyst, those people that are usually taking care of reports, what kind of value BI with AI brings, and what the challenges are first. Well, first of all, without BI with AI, usually there's a lot of work. It's labor intensive, exporting to Excel, crystal reports, and spending hours and hours and hours doing business rules, and quite often on an ongoing basis. We know many companies that have half a person dedicated for reporting, sometimes one person, sometimes 2-3 people doing intensive labor that is repetitive. Every week, every day, every month, they go over the same procedures over and over and over. And when you have humans doing these mechanical things, one of the problems is mistakes happen. And quite often people don't trust the numbers because someone make a mistake. Remember you made a mistake last time? You probably did it again. And now people have to go back and revet all the processes to be sure the numbers are right. It's inefficient and very labor intensive. The second is Excel hell. Excel is amazing until it isn't. If you're hitting the it isn't level, is what we call Excel hell. Too many spreadsheets all over the place. You open 2 Excel reports, the numbers don't match. Why the numbers not matching? Why? Is the data refreshed? It's very hard to have a single version of the truth if you're using Excel as your only reporting tool. If you have large data sets, then when you press the freaking refresh button, usually you don't get the answer in seconds. We have clients that when they were running reports, they have to run overnight because during business hours, it would slow down their Sage. Sometimes taking hours to run a single report, minutes and hours is very common. with the proper BI in AI is dramatically accelerated. And finally, when you're trying to consolidate different data, maybe you have multiple ERP systems or multiple Sage, or you need to combine your Sage data with some other operational systems. Bringing data together is usually something that if you don't have BI with AI is a pain in the neck, sometimes impossible. With BI with AI, well, a lot of the labor-intensive processes around reports can be completely automated. Hopefully, we never replace human intelligence because many times business analysts' role is using their intelligence to decide certain things. So the idea is this kind of tool does not replace human intelligence, but the mechanical processes around the data extraction, preparation, filtering, cleaning, security, all those things quite often can be automated and quite often completely automated. So it's a lot more efficient. As I mentioned, there's AI all over the place. So there are AI tools that can help the back end of your BI solution, helping with data modeling, with cleaning, helping with KPIs. So it's a lot easier to set up and keep your single version of truth. Data volume. With BI, there is no limit in data volume. You can throw as much data as you want into your BI. And on average, the majority of your reports will run in seconds. Again, no matter how much data you have. Some people say it's not possible. I'm not going to go into those details today, but call me and we can talk about how we make it possible. KPIs out of, terabytes of data. It's possible with the proper settings. Finally, bringing data together from different data silos within your ERP, outside of your ERP, is something that enterprise-grade BI can do really, really well. We have clients that when they go to their dashboards, they see operations, revenues, P&L, sales, services, inventory across multiple different business units with multiple ERPs. But for the decision makers, it's just their data, their P&L, their customers, their services, their products is all consolidated by the enterprise-grade technology. So those are the BI values for the business analysts and data scientists. Now, in a nutshell, what is BI with AI? What are the components? Well, pretty much you need BI tools, you need data warehousing, all of these proper tools. If you select the high-end ones, they come with a lot of AI features and agents nowadays. You need to build the data models, to bring your Sage data, your ERP data, your CRM data, your payroll data, and eventually need to build reports, dashboards, and KPIs, all AI-powered. And once you put all of these things together, then you get actionable insights for decision makers. So pretty much you need these 5 data points, and a lot more. If you peel the onion, there's a lot more, but high level, you need these 5 data points to get BI with AI properly done. Now, you can absolutely do it yourself. This is no rocket science. If you have data geeks, my crowd, in-house, or you hire people and start from scratch, absolutely feasible. A lot of great tools out there. And primarily, you have to start, building data warehousing from scratch. Quite often, starting data warehousing from scratch is pretty labor-intensive. You need people that know your ERP systems, your data silos. They know the data warehousing technology. They know how to set it up. So it's quite a bit of an effort. Then you need to pick the data visualization layer. Tools like Power BI, Tableau, Domo, Click, Looker. There's a lot of cool tools out there that you need to select one that will fit your needs. And then in this process, you also select the AI tools that come with them, or sometimes you have to bring some others. And be sure that all of these things is properly, your data is governed. You have the proper extraction, the modeling. So it's a lot of work. You can do it. Yes, you can, but it's a lot of work. The alternative is using DataSelf Analytics Plus. DataSelf Analytics Plus is our next generation. We released a few months ago. Primarily, the data warehouse for Sage and lots of competing products is plug and play. So you can have a data warehouse up and running in a matter of hours. We heavily support the most popular BI tools. Tableau and Power BI we support extensively, even though we also work with Domo, Looker, Click, and whatnot. And for a lot of these, high-end tools, we provide more than 8,000 KPI templates. When you go on day one, it's not what you want to see. Let's build the first report and dashboard. On day one, you have a library with lots of KPIs: AP, AR, GL, P&L, balance sheet, inventory, project accounting, purchasing, sales, CRM opportunities, contact management, payroll. There's a lot of KPI templates that are already on day one for you to use as is or customize as needed. And as I mentioned, we've been around for a while, working with AI for about 8 years now, and we already have selected AI components that apply to this platform, proven practical AI that can make the job significantly easier. And it's a technology that you can usually use other tools. If you want to add more components that are not in our package doesn't have shackles, is an open technology that you can plug and play other components as needed. In a nutshell, all of those challenges, building a data warehouse from scratch, finding the BI tools, finding the AI tools, we have all of them already together, ready to go. You don't need to stitch the tools. You don't need to build the models from scratch. And this whole platform deploys in hours. So it's an amazing way to get your BI with AI. Instead of taking months to years to build from scratch, you start in hours with a very robust and well-designed platform. So let me kind of peel the onion and show you in more details what DataSelf Analytics Plus is. This is a very high level for business people. From a business people standpoint, what we do is we get the data out of your systems, in any system, your Sage, ERP, if you have CRM in Sage or Salesforce, HubSpot, doesn't matter. If you have CRM, payroll, spreadsheets, can be Excel sheets, Google Sheets, operational systems for inventory, for construction, whatever. The first point is these systems, they usually have reporting tools that are limited within the constraints of that system. And quite often they are slow, they are complicated, they are labor intensive. So the first thing is get the data out of those systems, put in your DataSelf data warehouse, and then you organize the data to make reports easy, fast, and to have the rules defined in the data warehouse. We call the single version of the truth of your management KPIs are maintained in a single place in a data warehouse. So when you're building reports out of the data warehouse, the truth is defined in the back end, not on the front end. So when you open two reports, one report is in Excel, one report in Power BI, one report in Tableau, the numbers match because the rules are in the data warehouse, not designed on the front end tool. So organize is a big part of the value of DataSelf. And what really matters for decision makers is the ability to analyze the data easily. The 8,000 KPI template, usually when people order, they get a subset. Let's say for construction business, maybe we have 3,000, 4,000 KPIs. For retail, we have a certain subset, but there's a KPI library that you can pick which KPIs to work with initially, and you can easily expand because the library is right there sitting for you to use the KPIs if and when needed. We support extensively Power BI and Tableau, as I mentioned, and there is AI featured on the back end, on the front end to help you ask questions in plain English, and the tool will answer with your questions in seconds, as long as the data is there, and the AI tool can understand your question and give you the answer. We'll give you some examples at the end of the day. But in a nutshell, we extract the data, we organize the data, and we provide you a framework where you can easily analyze anytime, anywhere by yourself. About 80% of your ad hoc questions can be answered within the tool in seconds. No need to queue the request for IT. Wait for them to get the report. And when you get the report, it's 1 minute too late. Nope, you can do most of it by yourself and get the answers instantly at your fingertips. I'm going to go a little bit more technical now for a few extra slides to give you, how we deliver that kind of value. So this is the DataSelf summarized architecture. On the far left, all data sources. Any data source that you want to analyze the data can be extracted into DataSelf. Sage, ADP, is unlimited. Any data source can be extracted. A big part of the value is this green box we call data warehousing, modeling, reports, and AI. Primarily in this box here is where we do a lot of the magic. We extract the data from the ERP system, from the payroll system, whatever. We put in a separate a container called data warehouse. We clean the data, we model the data, we optimize the data, and meaning whoever's maintaining your data cell. So this person or these people do this kind of work that out of the box already covers a lot. This is all AI assisted, and it's a no code, low code, full code. So plug and play, ready to go. A lot of the magic is done in the data warehouse. Then we support different data platform visualization tools, Power BI, Fabric, Excel, Tableau, Domo, Click-Manot. So you leverage best of breed visualization tools. And at the end of the day, the business users will be able to see the reports and dashboards, ask questions to the AI engine, and get answers instantly. So behind the scenes, that's the kind of technology running. In this box, ETL Plus is our main proprietary technology. ETL means the extraction, transformation, and loading is a tool that is no code, low code, full code for data warehousing. The DFT is taking your data, let's say in Sage, and modeling it for financial analysis, P&L and balance sheet analysis, for inventory analysis, for sales analysis, for project accounting analysis. So all of these things, there's a lot of modeling on the back end, ready to go, ready to be customized. The KPIs are reports and dashboards that plug and play into these tools. So when you go to Power BI or Tableau, it's not like a blank sheet. You already have up to 8,000 reports and dashboards. And the AI feature is covering the backend, helping the business analyst to model it. And this is pretty much why we deliver a fast and ongoing return on investment. It deploys in hours. We give you the keys. We teach you to fish. And then you can start to customize and ask questions to your BI with AI solution. AI is a big topic nowadays. So part of our AI Plus package, as I mentioned, there is thousands of KPIs plug and play that are AI powered. AI can help you as a business analyst to customize your data models in minutes. And I'm going to show some example in the demo session. Many times you don't know where the data is, how to model it. The AI can cut a lot of those hours to figure things out. You can ask, as a business person or as a business analyst, you can ask questions and you get answers that are contextual to your specific business within your industry. So the AI is really customized to your experience. In all of this framework is on top of a governed trusted data. Quite often nowadays, sometimes I hear people investing in AI before they have a proper data warehouse in place. And if you don't feed AI with governed and trusted data, good luck. Even with the governed trusted data, sometimes you need to know exactly what's happening. And sometimes the AI goes in the wrong direction. So if you don't have this foundation, AI quite often can be not very useful, kind of cool tool to tell I'm using AI, but not very practical. With governed and trusted data, there's a lot of benefit that is available today. The DFT layer, this is a little bit technical still, that I talked about, is DFT means dimension, fact, and time modeling. We take the data from your systems, we replicate or mirror in your data warehouse, and then we convert the data into dimensions, facts, and time. What is that? Dimension is how you group your data, your customers, your chart of accounts, your projects, your products, your salespeople, your territories. The facts are the transactions, your GL transactions, your AR receivables, your inventory transactions, your project accounting transactions. So those are the facts. In T for time is how you want to analyze your data by year, by quarter, by month, by fiscal period, by week, by day, by hour, by minute, by second. So you create those buckets into the BI, and then you can easily slice and dice it. At the end of the day, you build what we call the single version of the truth in your data warehouse. In every one of those dimensions, fact, and time, they become a single point of truth. So there's a single place in your data warehouse where you define how you want to analyze your customer. Maybe customer information comes from the Sage system. Maybe come from your CRM. Maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe some of the data points come in an Excel file. Doesn't matter where the data comes from. There's a single place in the data warehouse for customer definition. And if in the future you move that definition from another place, it doesn't matter. In the data warehouse, the spot continues to be in the same place. And once you have this DFT, comes a big benefit, the galactic view of your business data. Oh my God, now I'm freaking out. I know. I'm not talking about Artemis and Orion now. I'm not at NASA. But let me tell how the galactic view, it's an amazing value that probably many of you don't know about it and are not taking advantage of it. Historically, when people are analyzing their data, usually you have data silos. If you look at your financial GL tables, it's a data silo. If you go to your receivables, it's a different data silo. If you go to sales, like sales orders, a different data silo. If you go to project accounting, it's a different data silo. And then you have to build a report around each data silo. And if you need to connect the data across multiple data silos, you have to export to Excel and through labor, stitch the data together. It's a nightmare. That's been the life of people doing reports across data silos for a while. In the Galaxy schema, which is a term that data geeks have been learning for 20 plus years, has been a dream. When we'll be able to put all of my facts together, put around the planets, the dimensions that they share, I want to have one customer table looking at my receivables, my sales, my project accounting, my sales orders, my shipments. I want to put only one table and drill across all of these different fact tables. Until about 3-4 years ago, this was impossible. Galaxy Schema was a theory, it was not reality. But in the last 4 years, finally, technology came to a point where today Galaxy Schema is possible. I'm going to scare some of you with this next slide, just to give an idea what the Galaxy Schema looks like from a technical standpoint. I'm not going to go over the details here, but as you can see in the middle, you have the facts, in this example, AP, AR, financials, inventory, purchasing, sales order. You can have project accounting, CRM, doesn't matter. You have the facts in the middle. In around, you have the planet, you have one customer table. You have one chart of accounts table, you have one ship to address table, and it all interconnected. It's complicated, yes, business is complicated, it's complicated. But the beauty is once this model is connected to your data from Sage, from any system, and you bring the Galaxy schema together as a business user, and here comes the value. As a business user, you go to the report and you just drag and drop. Show me my customer. I want to see opportunities with this customer. I want to see contracts sold. I want to see projects or sales orders. I want to see shipments. I want to see invoices. I want to see receivables. And I want to see a line in the P&L from this customer. Now the business person can do this in seconds because the Galaxy schema brings all of your data together. So this is part of the DataSelf solution for systems like Sage and others. So moving along. Now that I get you guys almost 30 minutes of theory, let's see in real life how this whole platform works. And I'm going to show you a little bit of AI-assisted help. So I'll start with the AI. A lot of people are really AI focused. And then I'll show some ad hoc analysis, some of the KPIs out of the 8,000 library. And then I'll show a little bit of under the hood. I know that I have some people in the audience that are business analysts and data scientists. So I'm going to show value for business users, CFOs, COOs, CEOs, VP of sales. So I'm going to show business value for those people as well for the business analysts and data scientists. So fasten your seatbelt and let's take a look at DataSelf now. So let me just reload things here, first of all. And by the way, as I'm showing this tool, I'm going to be initially showing the user interface, and I'm going to be showing Power BI and Tableau as part of it. I'm not going to tell when I'm using one or the other because it doesn't matter. They're both pretty much the same framework. Let's just give you a second here. So I'm going to be using Power BI and Tableau as part of my demo. It doesn't really matter for you, but just for those who understand my point. And I'm going to start with something simple. I'm going to show first the slicer as a demo. The slicer, it's a spreadsheet kind of look and feel. So it's not flashy, it's not charts, but the slicer is one of the most popular features in DataSelf because it allows business users to answer questions, find the answer to their questions in seconds that otherwise would not be simple. And by the way, one thing that I just forgot is I'm going to show you AI first. So sorry about that. I'm going to go to AI first, and then I'll go back to the slicer. I'm too excited. All right, I'm going to go to AI first. I'm going to show you 3 popular practical use of AI. The first one is the easiest to use, is targeted to business people that can ask questions about their data, they can understand the answer, and they can have a conversation with the AI, and you'll see how powerful this part of the AI use case is. So you go to a prompt and you ask a question about your business. I'm going to ask here, show sales by item. So plain English, sales by item, you press enter. The tool will check the Galaxy schema. When it finds information, renders a chart. So in this case, it's showing items and sales by item. And then you can say, well, can you say this by state? On a breakdown by ship to state, press enter. And the tool will also look at your data, find if you have ship to, and now we took sales by item and then made bubbles for every state. The size of the bubble is how much sales you have for each state, and the slices are colored by the actual items. And you can go on, show me for this year, how it's changed since last year, put me this on a spreadsheet, export to Excel. All of this interaction and conversation you can do with the AI tool. It will render the answers. And as I mentioned, many times, on average, 80% of the questions that you ask the tool, it will answer instantly, accurately, and you don't have to call anyone else. So very powerful. Nowadays, the good news is, until a few years ago, this would only work in English. Now is no longer English bound. You can speak in Spanish, you can speak in Chinese, whatever the language is, you can talk and the AI will understand the question and will try to answer it. My next example that I want to show is a little bit more sophisticated. I'm going to use, in this case, Tableau, but I'm going to show you how you can come up with some very cool AI functionality. So I'm going to create a new metric to follow. I'm going to call sales trends. So whatever the name is, so I'm creating a new metric in my AI model. And even though it's a little bit more technical, but be patient, this is not too technical. Then you tell what do you want to follow. Well, as my sales measure, could be my cost of sales, could be my cost on hand, could be my payroll cost, whatever it is. So you pick the measure, you tell how you want to slice it by time. So you choose a date period that you have that particular measure. And then you add how you want to slice and dice it. Let's say I want to put my customer, I want to put my item. So you just pick what ways you want to slice and dice your data. I'm going to put salespeople here. So I just, define how I want to slice it. I click next. And there's a bunch of options here I'm going to just skip because they are more sophisticated. But here you tell if this measure sales goes up, is it neutral? Is it good or not good? In this case, it's good. So when you tell it's good, now the AI magic starts to happen. I'm going to stop here because there's a lot more things you can do. But on the right side, it took my sales trend, it took my sales or my financials, whatever that you're looking at, and by knowing those parameters that I entered, it starts to show me stuff that I might be interested in, completely unsolicited. Did you know that compared to the last month, there's a sales trend decrease of this amount, and it shows here, in this case, what customers decreased in the last month. If you scroll down, you see the same thing by what is this? This is salespeople. These are items. And then now it's showing which ones increased. And then you can see, all of these little charts were created by the AI looking at what metric you're paying attention to, the time dimension that you want to analyze, how you want to slice that particular metric, and it start to give you insights that you might care. You can easily, save these things. You can tell, yes, I like this, I don't like this, and you keep on giving the AI your way of analyzing the data. The AI will learn, the machine learn of your preferences, and slowly but surely will give you better and better recommendations as you move forward. So it's a little bit more technical, but for those of you who can actually think about these parameters and give the components, it's amazing how many use cases the AI will tell you, even though you didn't ask the question specifically. The third example that is very practical with AI is for business analysts. So now it's very technical, but it's going to be a short example. This is the back end, how you can maintain the DataSelf solution, the data warehousing, what source system you bring into your system, and adding source system is very straightforward. You click, a new data source. And as you can tell, there are more than 400 sources you can plug and play very quickly. But anyhow, my CFO just called me and told me that my cash flow projection right now doesn't include purchase order, and we need to include this purchase order to my cash flow projection. How can I do it? I never worked with DataSelf yet. It's my first day working with DataSelf. What should I do it? Well, first of all, click the AI button and then ask a question. Add purchase order to my cash flow projection. This will be the question. Because I know better, I'm going to put it at the top. So it give me the recommendation at the very top instead of going through and show me everything. And before I press send, let me tell you this use case. Cash flow projection is usually a labor-intensive process where people export a bunch of data from ERP, Sage, banks, whatever, go into Excel, manipulate, and eventually here's my cash flow projection. Very labor-intensive process. And with DataSelf, you can completely automate the mechanical part of it, pulling data from Sage, pulling data from your CRM system, from your payroll, projecting your labor costs, whatever. It brings all the data together, crunches the data, consolidated the data, model the data, and put in the dashboard. All of this can be a lot of these things are done out of the box. But if you need to customize it, usually it involves going to the data warehouse and using modeling, using SQL or Python to do the modeling. This is what this example is going to do. When I ask this question, when I press the send button, I'm asking the AI to check how I'm doing my cash flow, what's missing in it, in adding purchase order to the cash flow modeling. So even though I had no clue yet how DataSelf was doing the cash flow projection, by asking the question, the AI starts to assess your specific data warehouse, whatever you have in your data warehouse. It knows your metadata, and start to check. It found the cash flow projection, which is a view called Ash cash flow projection. It right now is writing or reviewing the SQL statement and adding the purchase order component. So as soon as you finish this, you apply the change. Next time that you refresh your model, when the CFO goes to look at their dashboard in Power BI Tableau, purchase order is in it. So this saves usually hours and hours of work to do the modeling behind the scenes. Anyhow, so this is the AI quick demo. There's a lot of things around AI, but these are three popular use cases. Just asking plain English, build those metrics that the tools start to tell you interesting ideas about those metrics. And on the back end, how the AI helps business analysts and data scientists do their work more effectively. What I'm going to show you next is the out-of-the-box solution we provide for Sage, and show you a few of the most popular dashboards that are plug and play out of 8,000. So now I'm going to go to the slicer that I was talking about before. The slicer is a template. I'm showing you a revenue slicer. We have slicer for receivables, for payables, for purchase order, for project accounting, for CRM, payroll, for anything. So it's a template that applies to any portion of your Galaxy schema. And primarily, you can choose what periods you want to analyze. So right now, I have all my data. Maybe I only want to see for 1 year. So super simple. You choose 1 year, press apply. And now the tool only shows for 1 year. If you want to drill down, from year to quarter to month to days to hours, we have the T, the time dimension that you can slice and dice it. In my example, I'm going to drill down from the year, click the plus signal. In this case, I go straight to the months. So I don't go to the quarter because I don't care quarters, but how you analyze dimension, the time dimension is pre-configured in the data warehouse. And let's say we only want to see the first quarter of the year. So you picked up the period, press apply, super easy. In seconds, you get that perspective. So very easy to filter the time period. Now, let's say that I don't want to see revenue by state. I want to see by, I don't know, by project or by salesperson. This slicer comes pre-configured out of the box, and you can completely customize it. You can add custom fields. You can actually add an unlimited number of custom fields. And once you customize the slicers, and this work is for business analysts, now business people just pick and choose. So if I want to see the project manager, I pick project manager, and now the report shows project manager revenues for those 3 months. If I want to drill down in more details, I click to go to the next level. And right here, I have customer. Sure, I could change it, but customer is good. I want to see more details. You can keep on drilling down and picking the slicers, and the tool will automatically show you the data in seconds, no matter how much data you have. I'm looking at revenue. What if I want to see revenue and other measures? This list is also customizable. This is out of the box. If you want to see gross profit, you just choose it, whatever you choose, and the tool will render information in seconds. This is the training, the core training for the slicer. If you got it, you can do it now yourself. If you didn't, forget it. Kind of joke, right? But changing the slicer is fairly straightforward. You can save the report at any point, so next time you don't have to do it all over again. And this eliminates a lot of queues and requests to the business analyst to build a new report. And that's why the slicer is so popular across all business areas. Now that I showed you the tabular, pretty straightforward functionality, let me show you some other more kind of flashier dashboards. The year over year is also one of the most popular dashboards. It looks a little busy at first, but the main idea here is to have a dashboard that gives a person, someone looking at the CFO, look at your revenues, or maybe your VP of sales, or maybe you're looking at this from a purchasing standpoint, looking at purchasing year over year or quarter over quarter. So primarily you select the period that you want to analyze on the right. And right here, I have a year level, and looking at the first 9 months, I see the total this period, the total the same period last year in this example, in the variances. It shows me the data by period, where the dark blue is this year, light blue is last year. By territory, bigger bubbles, in this case, bigger revenue. Black is growing, red is declining. So you can give you an idea of variances. In this example, show customer total last year, total this year in the variance. In this case, product and services last year, this year in variances. So anyhow, a dashboard, right? A cool dashboard. But the beauty is you can completely easily customize it, change the widgets. Maybe you don't want to see products, you want to see branches, locations. You can easily change all of these widgets. It's fully customizable. And once you provide to the decision makers, then the magic happens. A decision maker comes to this dashboard, they look in these things. Let's say, hey, look at this. Texas, wow, we're growing 11%. Yay, kudos, right? Growing a lot. What's happening in Texas? I click Texas, and now the dashboard changed to only show Texas numbers. If I unclick, I see everyone. When I click, I only see Texas information, totals, trend analysis, customers, and products. And even though we're growing 11% in Texas, when I look at my customers, I see that this customer here is actually declining a lot. Oh my God, we're doing great, but looks like we could do better. What's happening with this customer? I click this customer, the dashboard changes again to only show in Texas this customer, total churn analysis, and what items or services I'm selling. Why I'm declining so much in these items? The items, I can select the items, and maybe now I want to see, show me the details. I want to see the invoices. I want to see the quantities, who sold, what happened. Then you can drill down to the most detailed level. But the ability for a business person to see the big picture, pick outliers, the great or the bad, slice and dice it, and find the why, drilling down or drilling across, is the power that many business people miss that DataSelf provides. I'm going to show some other examples very quickly. Cash flow projection. When I mentioned the modeling before, the PO was not included. So you can go to the model in the back end, you add new data points. Of course, PO is including the DataSelf out of the box. But if you have some loans that are not included in your GL, that is an Excel spreadsheet, you can throw that into the model, and automatically when you go to the cash flow projection dashboards in DataSelf, you would have a new kind of transaction type here, and you can see what's happening with your cash flow. Here's a way to see cash flow in a chart. Here are all the transactions. If you look at, let's say, this particular day, your cash flow is going down quite a bit. You pick that particular data point, and quickly on the right, it will filter to show what transactions on that particular day are driving the cash flow up and down. So very interactive, like I showed the other dashboards. P&L, balance sheet, budgeting, all of those things are part of the out-of-the-box framework that can get your BI, on day one with a lot of the things ready to go. WIP reporting, if you're in construction, professional services, you want to see your projects, how you're doing. You can pick a project, you click at the high level, and then it shows the details, what those details are. Maybe you want to select multiple projects that belong to a customer. The more you select the bottom, you have more details. If you pick at the bottom some more transactions here, you can actually see drill down to the next level. So the ability to go to the top, the bottom, very, very available in DataSelf. Gantt chart, we have more than 8,000 reports and dashboards, plug and play, that will be ready to get started as soon as you deploy your DataSelf. Now, I want to show a little bit of the back end. So this is the front end, how business people take advantage of DataSelf. What about the business analysts? So business analysts, they quite often go to the ETL tool. The ETL is where you get your data out of the box, where you have your Sage, your CRM. So here's an example of the ERP. You can have a bunch of your ERP tables, CRM tables. If you want to add, let's say, ADP, you just select ADP, and now you connect ADP, bring data to your data warehouse. You mirror your data, and then you model your data. This is where we model the data. Remember when I talk about the spot, the single point of truth that you define in the data warehouse or your customer? There is a place in the data warehouse where you have your Ds for dimension, your Fs for facts, and your T's to how you want to slice and dice based on time. And if you choose your customer, this is a SQL statement. Yeah, it's a SQL statement pre-configured. So if you have Sage, you don't have to write it. It's pre-written for you. If you don't know how to write SQL statements, you just ask AI, how can I add the account information from my Salesforce and HubSpot into my Sage Intacct or X3, the customer dimension. You ask AI, the AI is going to write it for you, a bunch of the code. But if you are a business analyst that knows the power of coding, you'll know that sometimes some data problems, you need full code to handle some complicated data problems. And we bring you no shackle. DataSelf is a no-code, low-code, full-code data modeling. Quite often, you don't need any coding because you can extract, you can model things without writing any code. But when you need to add, some code, low code or full code, there is no shackles. You can take full advantage of the data warehousing capabilities to handle large data volumes and complicated business rules to be sure that your BI will automate as much as possible of your complicated data problems. So that's where we model, the DFT, as I mentioned. Then you push your data into your Power BI, Tableau, or your Python, whatever, and the ETL manages the whole process, refreshes, does delta refresh, and get the whole process in a way that eventually the data goes to a SQL Server data warehouse. Can be in our cloud, can be in your cloud, can be in on premises, is a data warehouse somewhere. In whatever the data warehouse, the ETL does, it is in a SQL Server where you have full control to customize it as needed. Having said that, I hope you have enjoyed the demo. I have a few more slides. Again, to remind you, I already mentioned multiple times, many people don't believe it, that's why I mentioned multiple times. Yes, DataSelf, everything that I showed you deploys in hours worth of effort. This doesn't take weeks, doesn't take months. In hours worth of effort, everything that I showed you gets connected to your Sage, and what I showed you probably will be ready as an out of the box on day one. Of course, many times it needs to be customized to your specific needs, but the plumbing, the security, the connections, the extraction, the delta refreshes out of the box is done in hours. We have 3 editions that I showed the price here. If you're interested, I recommend contact me so we can discuss in more details and show you all the little details behind the pricing structure. It's very straightforward. If you want to learn more about DataSelf, I highly encourage you to contact us. There's the email, the phone number. If you scan this QR code, you're going to go to our contact page. And I always tell people that if you have reporting challenges, even though presentation always look, kind of cool and fun and whatever, but call us. We'll talk with you. We'll understand your needs. If we are a good fit, we'll tell you how we'll help you and how much it will cost you. If you're considering BI with AI, once we tell you how we do things, usually we get a fairly quick yes or no. People, once they peel the onion, they understand what DataSelf provides, is fairly quick to get a yes or no answer. More often than not is yes, but sometimes we're not a good fit. Sometimes we go to someone else and we can point someone else sometimes in some directions. But we have a 98% success rate. Most of our clients, once they engage with DataSelf, 98% stick with us, they love it, and we become a long-term BI partner. With that in mind, I'm going to open for Q&A. If you have questions, please use the Zoom Q&A section or the chat. And I'm going to see if there's any questions here. So let me just find my way around. There it is. Okay, question from Joe. How long does it take to learn to customize DataSelf? Joe, this question is very generic. I always like to answer questions specifically to know exactly where you are and how can we help you learn the additional techniques. We like to tell people that we like to teach you to fish with DataSelf. And primarily the first step is to know what you need from DataSelf, what you know from BI with AI, and what else you need from us to help you learn how to fish. We have some clients that the training is mostly teaching them Power BI or Tableau, just how to use it properly. Usually 12 hours of training can get people from almost no Power BI or Tableau to become very self-sufficient. And we have clients that they have very sophisticated needs. They need a lot of support on the back end. They have multiple ERPs, multiple Sage ERPs. They have NetSuite, Acumatica. They need to bring all the things together. And that takes a lot more training to understand the power of data warehousing. So training, unfortunately, unless I know where you are, the answer is generic. The front end, Tableau and Power BI usually takes 10, 12 hours of training to get you really doing things that you do today in your reporting tool. You'll do a lot more using those tools with that kind of training. If you're a business user and you don't have the time, you want to just learn how to slice and dice it and how to build reports and ask questions. As I showed you, the AI, you don't need training. If you speak a language, you can ask the AI, and the AI will probably 80% of the times answer the question without zero training, pretty much. So there's a lot of tools, and different tools may involve different levels of training. All right, next question. Where it is here? Question from Zach. How long does it take to deploy DataSelf? Zach, good question. So let me peel the onion about the hours. I mentioned it takes hours, and I think you're a little bit more sophisticated, and you know that the hours is not everything that you need, and 50% chance that you're right. About half of our clients, the out of the box is good as is, and people can run with it, as a starting point. There's a lot of value. But if you're here, likely you have more sophisticated needs and you need customizations. So the out of the box has been designed, let's say for Sage, expecting a Sage vanilla deployment. Most companies, they have Sage customized. So when we plug your DataSelf to your Sage, and you go to look at your reports in DataSelf, the numbers might not be matching. Some of the optional customizations are not in DataSelf. So true, after a few hours, when you see your data in your Power BI Tableau reports, then it can take days, sometimes weeks, for my team to work with your team, if you don't have BI expertise, to help you customize your DataSelf, to incorporate the customization in your Sage, and to replicate them in DataSelf. So in practical terms, half of the companies who do business with DataSelf, the real go live of DataSelf to business users, where data has been validated, security has been properly set up. So when people go to the system, you can only see information that they're allowed. That's usually weeks out. So, usually takes weeks out for half of the DataSelf clients. So yeah, usually weeks out. If your company are not overly sophisticated in customization in Sage, we have clients that they go live in the first week because it's plug and play. They have fairly straightforward needs that the out of the box fulfills. We provision their licenses, we give them the keys, we give them the tour, and off they go. So there's a chance you can go live for some of the templates, at least that I showed, within a week. Alrighty, well, we're running out of time. There's a couple more questions here, but then I will be answering them one-on-one. I hope you have appreciated, you have learned. If you're going to San Francisco for the Sage Future, we're going to have a booth there. So visit us to talk with us. If you can't wait because you have main pains, you want to see if DataSelf can be a good fit for your needs, please, contact us. We'll discuss with you. We'll assess your needs. We'll give our best assessment of how we can help you. We give you the cost. More often than not, whatever we give you as a cost estimate, we don't ask you for more money after. Quite often, our projects are well designed, are well spec'd out, and this is not like a never-ending project. Our projects are usually pretty well designed, and we deliver the things within scope. I hope you found this session informative. I hope you have a great day, and hope to see some of you guys in San Francisco in a few weeks. Thanks for joining us, guys.